Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Patrick O'Neill, Joan Van Ark, Charles Aidman. Tonight's episode, The Challenge.
Please. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not leaving till you talk to me.
You mean the way you talk to Nancy?
She had to know.
Sure. Sure. The wife's always got to know if the husband's fooling around. Otherwise, it's no fun.
I told Nancy that I'm in love with you and that you love me. I thought I was telling the truth.
Maybe you were, Kathy. But it doesn't matter now, don't you see? I mean, the condominiums, the business, every cent of it Nancy's. Without her, I've got nothing.
We can live without her money.
Sorry, Kath, but I can't.
I have to go. They booked me an early flight in the morning. Arnold, if you change your mind, the ad agency's putting us up at the Lawana Shores Hotel in Honolulu.
Oh, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're a mean man, kicking out a sweet lady like that. Not to mention standing up a terrific guy like me. You missed our appointment today.
My wife knows all about Kathy and me. She walked out this morning. I'm through paying your blackmail, Captain.
Oh, it's not that easy, Mr. Moore.
Damn it, friend, the wallet is empty. You've got no more hold on me. No more Wednesday appointments, no more $500 a week to keep your mouth closed. See, now it's my turn to squeeze you. I'm gonna go to the police, and when they've heard what I have to tell, the hell that you put me through will be nothing compared to what they'll do to you.
Oh, now, Mr. Moore, you're getting yourself all worked up. It could be we can work something out.
There is nothing left to work out.
I'd think twice about that, Mr. Moore.
Cabot, you know what I'd do if I were you? I'd start running. Because I'm going to get the first laugh I've had in months, seeing you behind bars.
Red, you made a big mistake.
But Arnold's bathing trunks were still wet, Mr. Jones. Did you ever hear of a man taking a swim just before putting an end to his life?
Well, now, Mrs. Moore, according to this police report, that may have been exactly what he did.
Arnold would never commit suicide, Mr. Jones. He enjoyed living too much. He loved all the good things too much to take his own life.
Most of us do. The trouble is, most of us are like me. We can't afford them all.
When my father died, he saw to it that I could, Mr. Jones. I loved my husband. I encouraged his tastes. Good food, good wine.
Sounds like you think you may have spoiled him.
Unfortunately, Arnold had another taste for what he called good company. He wasn't the most faithful of husbands.
You sure of that?
I suspected it for some time. He even called in the Raider Detective Agency to find out once and for all.
What'd they say?
Well, as a matter of fact, the agent on the case gave Arnold a clean bill of health. But he was wrong. The day Arnold died, a woman called me. She didn't give her name, but she confirmed everything that I had suspected all along.
I want this data comparison coded for, the last 3 years, will you? Barnaby!
Quite a little place you got here.
Oh, it's about time you came to see it. Well, come on. What do you think?
Well, you're doing a lot better than you were when you were a forensic chemistry student in my class. We got more machinery in here than they moved into my Uncle Ezra's dairy farm after Aunt Jean got tired of hand milking.
Well, Raider offers total services, from delivering payrolls to investigating murder. I hope you're finally going to take me up on my offer to join us.
No, I'm working on a case. About 3 months ago, you did a surveillance for a Mrs. Arnold Moore. What I would like to see is the investigative log and also the man who worked on it, if possible.
Sure. Investigator, Arnold Moore, surveillance. No problem, no. The man you want's one of our best, Frank Cabot.
Sour ball, Mr. Jones.
Oh, thank you very kindly.
Make yourself comfortable.
There you go.
Let's try my swinging seat.
Very interesting, but I think I'll just sit here. You don't mind?
Barnaby, I've got to run. You sure you won't reconsider my offer and join up?
No, thanks. I always like to do my own milking.
Milking. You a farmer, Mr. Jones?
Well, I left the farm some time ago. I'm a private investigator.
Retired?
Not yet.
I knew nostalgia was the big thing these days. I hadn't realized it'd come this far.
Well, it takes more than age to make an antique, Mr. Cabot. I'm looking for information about Arnold Moore.
Oh, you're the one. Yeah, Moore's insurance company told me his wife had hired a private investigator to check on his death. She doesn't think it was suicide.
And you were hired to prove that it was.
The case was kicked over to me about an hour ago. You're right. His policy doesn't pay if it was suicide. I was just going over his investigation file.
Say, I'd like to have a look at that.
You're welcome to it. It's really good, quite thorough.
Well, Mrs. Moore seems to feel that you overlooked one thing. Mr. Moore had a girlfriend.
I don't make mistakes on basics like that. You read the file. Moore wasn't involved with anybody.
Well, Ms. Moore says he was. The woman even called her.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Moore could be mistaken.
Well, her husband didn't seem to think so. As a matter of fact, he admitted it.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy, it looks like I blew one. But, you know, it could be that Moore was out of touch with his girlfriend when I was following him.
That may be. But I figure if I can find his girlfriend, she might be able to throw some light on what happened the night he died.
You know, Mr. Jones, if you're correct in this, I've got my professional standing to redeem. Tell you what, why don't I wrap this thing up for both of us?
Well, I appreciate that very much, Mr. Cabot, but I don't think it'd be fair to my client.
Well, I don't care if they call it an accident or suicide, but there's no point in both of us spinning our wheels over the same ground. Besides, since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. Cabot, but I think I'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other and see where it leads me.
Well, that's up to you, but don't forget, better man always wins.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Cabot. I'll keep that in mind.
Mr. Stevenson? Mr. Stevenson?
Oh, what is it, Sheila?
Well, I just wanted to say goodnight. I'm going home now. Unless you need me for anything.
No, go ahead. Have a nice evening.
Oh, thanks.
Stevenson?
I beg your pardon?
Frank Cabot, Rated Detective Agency. We've been hired to look into some discrepancies of Vanguard Investments business affairs.
Well, that's impossible. I never made such a decision.
Well, it seems that you're the one man your board of directors didn't ask. They're a little upset. The ripoff comes to over $100,000.
Mr. Cabot, this is hardly the place to be talking about such matters.
Well, we could go back to your office. That's the way you juggled all your accounts, isn't it?
What do you mean, juggling? I never did any juggling.
Mr. Stevenson, you can be honest with me. These cases are always the same. A woman, gambling.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure your superiors would consider those stocks a gamble, Mr. Stevenson. A very poor one.
How did you know about those stocks? Now, look, I'm not a rich man. When those stocks pay off, there'll be enough to return the money and still ensure my future.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stevenson. I know how you must feel, but I have to make that report. Now, believe me, it's not easy having to ruin good people just because they've made one mistake.
Mr. Cabot, this report of yours, when is it due?
Tomorrow morning, I'm afraid.
But it could be delayed.
Oh, now, Mr. Stevenson, I think I see what you're getting at, but now you're asking me to put my future on the line.
Perhaps if there was some extra money in it for you?
Well, now, I don't want you to think there's anybody who couldn't use extra money.
I can make it very attractive. All you have to do is hold up that report.
Look, you're a nice guy. That's not right that all the nice guys in the world have to take in the neck. Why don't we talk tomorrow? We can work out the details by then.
Well, we can. I'm sure that we can.
Well, until then, I don't want you to worry about a thing, Mr. Stevens. Okay?
Wait, Mr. Cabot. I'm not unskilled. I felt certain that my transactions were absolutely untraceable. How did you find out?
Well, there's one thing about a good detective, Mr. Stevenson. He's always got his ways. The man's hooked.
You're good. You're really good. We've got it made.
Well, not quite.
And when you're all finished, bring me everything you find in the filter trap.
Oh, sure. Well, Mr. Jones. Up early, huh?
Well, I don't like to let much time go by. You're kind of up with the chickens yourself.
Yeah, well, I got this strange rooster with built-in AM, FM radio, stereo, tape deck, the whole thing. Wakes me up every morning crowing the news. So, did you find anything important while time was jogging by?
Depends on what you consider important. Take a look over here.
Is this where Moore went over?
According to where the police found his body. Now, why would a man bent on killing himself pick a place like this where he had to fight his way through a jungle?
If you ever decide to go over, you want a nice clear runway, is that it?
Seems to me this would be a more likely spot.
I don't want to puncture any pet theories, but according to psychiatrists I talked to, this might be too easy.
How do you mean?
Well, a man committing suicide is usually trying to prove something. Now, 9 times out of 10, he'll choose the most difficult way. Then he's got more time to change his mind if he's afraid.
You might have a point.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
I'm just about finished, but I think I did get everything that was in that filter trap, just like you asked for.
Oh, thank you very much. This may be very helpful.
Well, they say that the depths of the sea hold many secrets. I didn't know that applied to swimming pools.
Well, when you don't know what you're looking for, it doesn't hurt to look everywhere.
Yeah, if you say so. Why don't you let me take that down to our lab? They'll do the analysis for you in no time.
Well, I don't want to inconvenience you. My lab may be old-fashioned, but we get the work done. I'll tell you what. I'll send you a copy of the report. And since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Here you go.
$1,000?
All you have to do to earn it is to hold up that report of yours.
Well, how do I explain these inaccurate figures in the company's accounts?
You give me enough time, and I'll take care of those. Believe me, those stocks will pay off when the market turns around.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, you made yourself a deal.
Thank you, Mr. Cabot. You won't regret this.
I'm sure I won't. See you next week.
What was that, Mr. Cabot?
Next week. Same time, same place. Now, $1,000 is a great deal of money in some circles, but you'll have to admit it's a little inadequate when you consider the risk.
It's all I can afford. I have a family to take care of.
So do I. You took more than $100,000, and you're going to more than double that.
Not till the stocks go up. I can't touch them till then.
Mr. S., you're a smart man. Now, who's to know if you dip your hand in the till again? You might even get better at it. Practice makes perfect.
You're a blackmailer. You're nothing but a blackmailer.
I guess that's just another shame you'll have to live down. Starting another man on the road to crime. Now, I'll regard this check as a down payment. You can pay the rest in weekly installments. Say $500 each.
If I refuse?
Oh, well, I'm afraid I'd have to make my report very prompt and very damaging. Now, neither one of us wants that, do we?
I should have recognized you for the thief you are from the start.
Now, don't be sulky. See you in 7 days.
spoil your mood or anything, but may I ask what you're doing here?
I mean, are you deliberately trying to blow your cover?
I waited until he left. He never saw me. I called Kathy Sayers' agent this morning. She's finished her modeling assignment and she'll be flying into L.A. tonight.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. That's terrific, but I didn't ask you to do that.
I was just trying to please you.
Sheila, you're an inside operative. Your job is to get in where I put you and to learn what I need to know. And the way to please me is to do just what I tell you. Now, no more volunteering, you understand?
Yes.
Fired clay, and you see that little smudge down at this end?
Mm-hmm. Just barely.
Well, I did some scraping of that and ran a test and turned out to be ash.
Then what you have me staring at is probably just a broken piece of ashtray?
And there are about 3 or 4 more just like it up on the roof next to the pool, and that's where this one came from.
What does it prove?
Maybe nothing. Depends on how it was broken and when.
Hello, Kathy. How'd you like Hawaii?
Who are you and how did you get in here?
Detective, Miss Sayers. I'd like to talk to you about Arnold Moore.
Arnold? Is something wrong?
Mr. Moore's dead, Miss Sayers. Happened a few days ago.
Oh, no. Oh.
Sorry, Miss Sayers. I know this must come as a great shock.
I've been away on a fashion layout. How did it happen?
Violently. That's why I wanted to talk to you. You were one of Moore's secrets. Anyone know he was seeing you?
Oh, there was Carl Hastings. We ran into him once at a restaurant. But Carl was a good friend. He pretended not to see us. In fact, I don't even think he got a good look at me.
Anyone else? Anyone who wasn't such a friend who might have wanted to hurt him?
There was a man. Arnold told me about him. He was blackmailing Arnold.
You never saw this man?
No, but Arnold did mention his name. Cahill, no. Cabot, that's it, Frank Cabot.
Miss Sayers, I think you better come with me.
Yes, anything I can do to help. By the way, how did you know about me? Excuse me, officer, can I see your ID again?
That's what happened to the ashtray.
Mr. McKay, do you recall exactly when you noticed there was one missing?
Oh, I recall, Mr. Jones, I recall. See, part of my job's buying replacements for anything that gets broken. Now, the ashtray was gone the morning after what happened to Mr. Moore.
You sure about that?
Yes, sir. See, the night before, I'd just finished cleaning the pool area when Mr. Moore came out to swim. Now, when I left, all the ashtrays were there.
And the next morning, there was one missing?
Yes, sir. But there were no broken pieces I would have noticed.
Well, now, if the police sealed off the rooftop within 15 minutes of Mr. Moore's fall, that would mean that whoever picked up the broken pieces of the ashtray would almost have to have been there when he fell. Did you notice any of the other tenants on the roof?
No, sir. It's really too chilly for most of our people, except for Mr. Moore.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McKay. Ms. Moore,
You didn't ever see the woman who called you, did you?
No. I don't know now if I'm glad or very sorry.
Did your husband have any other, people who were close to him?
There was one person, an old school friend he brought into the business, Carl Hastings. Why?
We're looking for a witness. Special kind of a witness who could explain how your husband could jump to his death and at the same time manage to dispose of a broken ashtray.
Mr. Hastings? What a slice you got there. Great on dog legs. I had an uncle who used to practice his rhythm by swinging a horseshoe tied to a rope. He used to kick himself in the stern a lot, but it cured his slice.
I'll try to remember that. Are you some kind of pro?
Pro detective. Your office said I might find you here. My name is Barnaby Jones. Nancy Moore hired me to look into the death of her husband.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have nothing to say.
Mr. Hastings, you were Arnold Moore's closest friend. I'm hoping that he told you something about that girlfriend of his.
Arnold's dead, Mr. Jones. Why can't we leave it at that?
His wife needs to know how he died, and I think she's entitled to that, don't you?
Arnold Moore was the best friend I ever had. He gave me a chance, a job, when nobody else would.
Well, he doesn't sound like the kind of a man who would object to the truth. Besides, if you cleared your mind, it might improve your golf swing.
Okay, Mr. Jones. I have been going through Arnold's business accounts. I found a series of weekly withdrawals, $500 each, stretching back 3 months now.
Now, what do you suppose you did with all that money?
I don't know. It was listed under the heading of out-of-pocket expenses. I can only tell you, Mr. Jones, our pockets never had business expenses like that.
The girlfriend?
I knew Arnold was seeing a young lady. If he were alive, I'd never say anything, you understand? But now, what do I tell Nancy?
Hastings? Excuse me, Frank Cabot. Morning, Jones. You're really doing quite well. Those feet of yours moving you right along.
Well, apparently, you're not doing too badly yourself.
Matter of fact, I'm not. How well would you say you knew Moore's girlfriend, Mr. Hastings?
I only saw her once.
That was that time at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this the girl?
I can't be sure. It was 4 months ago. Lights were dim. I was across the room.
Well, take your time. Study her carefully.
The hair color's right. She has that willowy look.
That's fine, Mr. Hastings. You've been quite a help. Oh, I'm sorry. I take it you haven't found the mystery lady yet.
No, Mr. Cabot, and I must admit I'm impressed.
No, please. I owe it all to a certain kindly stranger. After you poked holes in my old report, I thought I'd better fill them in.
They do say a man learns by his mistakes.
Well, that's something we can all remember. Now, don't let these little setbacks get you down, Jonesy. Always better days ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings.
Global LG1 5699. Give me 555-8442.
Mr. Stevenson's office.
All right, lady, now's the time you can really start pleasing me. How you doing, Jones?
Just fine. I figured that you wouldn't mind if I joined you.
Jones, if I did, I'd lost you about 5 miles back.
I'm much obliged, Mr. Cabot. You've given an old hound the thrill of the chase.
My pleasure.
Just who is it that we're not going to find here anyway?
See for yourself.
Is there something I can do for you two gentlemen?
Sheila Bonner?
Yes.
Private investigators?
What terrible crime have I committed?
We just want to ask you a few questions.
All right, come on in. I'm not really feeling very well, but if it's important enough for the two of you to come here.
I realize it's difficult when you've lost a loved one.
Does this have to do with Arnold?
No one wants to bring up any pain, Miss Bonner, but we have to have information about Mr. Moore.
The only thing that matters is that he's gone, and I'm alone.
Miss Bonner, nothing can change that.
No, not now. But if I hadn't called her, if Arnold and I hadn't argued.
You argued?
Yes, the night he died. I went to see him up at the pool. He was furious at me for having called his wife. I suppose I was just as angry. But why couldn't he see that I'd done it for us?
That's how you left it?
No, not quite. When Arnold said I'd ruined his life, I told him if that was the way he felt about it, then it was over between us. I was finished. I didn't mean it, but...
But what?
Arnold pushed me. I hit a table and knocked over an ashtray. Would you believe it? I actually cleaned up the pieces.
Why did you bother at a time like that?
Well, it's a woman's trick, doing something silly like that. It took the edge off the fight. And it gave Arnold a chance to apologize.
Where did you put the broken pieces?
I dumped them into the trash bin on my way out.
You say Mr. Moore apologized?
Yes. Only I told him to forget it. I was finished. I hoped he'd come after me, but he didn't.
I just have one more question. You have some very nice pieces in here. Did you buy them yourself?
Arnold enjoyed giving me nice things. I guess I just didn't have whatever it takes to turn them down.
Did he also pay the rent?
You said just one question, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Miss Bonner. Sorry we had to come by. Sorry about everything. Like I said, Jonesy, you should have let me wrap this up for you.
You think this is all?
Well, Arnold Moore wakes up one morning with everything. By that same night, he's got nothing at all, not even his mistress. Wouldn't you say it's a good motive for suicide?
Moore's insurance company will be very happy, Mr. Cabot. I'd say you've got your motive all right.
I'm sorry I'm late. Any luck so far?
You know, Betty, I could have sworn this was a murder.
Well, maybe these can help. Arnold Moore's business records. And, well, this is everything that I could find on Sheila Bonner.
Arnold Moore and Sheila Bonner. You know, listening to that young lady today was just like reading Cabot's surveillance log. Everything's so pat.
She did have all the answers.
Yeah, no place to check them out. I can't figure out all these withdrawals.
Well, prices are going up, Barnaby. Even with girlfriends.
But $500 a week, and as regular as clockwork.
What is it?
Hey, maybe this clockwork has some kind of a calendar in it. When was it that Mrs. Moore received that report from Cabot?
It was 3 months ago, on the 3rd.
That's the same week Arnold Moore made his first withdrawal. Now, we know from Hastings that Moore had been seeing that girl for over 4 months.
I get it. The $500 withdrawals didn't begin until...
3 months ago. The very same week that Cabot gave Moore a clean bill of health with his wife.
You think Moore paid Cabot to keep quiet about the girlfriend?
That would sure explain these strange entries in Cabot's log.
You think he doctored that?
It fits. And so does something else.
What?
Once the girlfriend blew the whistle by calling the wife, Moore had nothing else to hide.
Then he would have no reason to keep paying Cabot.
Exactly. And Cabot is not the type who becomes a good loser or wants any witnesses around.
What about all the things that Sheila Bonner told you?
Sheila Bonner. I haven't quite figured out that young lady. According to her employment record, she worked in a lot of places in a very short time.
She once worked for one of those temporary office help companies. Maybe she got the habit.
Where did they place her?
That list is back here. Raider Detective Agency. Barnaby, she worked there.
All right, Barnaby. Someone by the name of Sheila Bonner was working here as a temporary secretary last year. But we employ temporaries all the time.
Did you know that that girl has shown up working at half the businesses Cabot investigated for you since then?
They probably worked well together. As you know, a few of our investigators recruit people to work as inside operatives, pay them out of their own pockets.
What's this case Cabot's working on now? Vanguard Investments Incorporated.
Oh, their board was afraid the comptroller was getting greedy, and they didn't want to frighten the stockholders with an audit, so they hired us. Why?
Did you know that Sheila Bonner's working for them?
Look, Barnaby, all I know is, according to Cabot, that Stevenson, the comptroller, is clean.
Are you a betting man?
No.
Good, because I wouldn't bet on Stevenson's honesty.
What about Cabot's?
Well, the way I feel about him is, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell him I was here.
Barnaby? Oh, no. All I want to know, really.
Hang on to your questions, because I'm going to have some answers very shortly.
Here's that report. Raider's supposed to leave some stuff on his desk for me.
Mr. Stevenson's office?
Put Stevenson on.
Frank, what's the matter?
This isn't a question and answer session, Sheila. Now put him on. Yes?
Mr. Jones. Mr. Stevenson's left for the day.
Forgive me, Miss Bonner, but after the story you told me yesterday, I find it hard to believe what you're telling me today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're almost as good at this as your friend Cabot. What did he do, cut you in on a percentage?
Mr. Jones, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call a security guard.
It's not just blackmail now, Miss Bonner. If I'm right, you could be charged as an accessory to a murder.
I told you, I don't know anything about Mr. Cabot or Mr. Moore.
You ought to at least know where your boss went.
I'm afraid Mr. Stevenson can't be reached.
It's a shame I couldn't reach you, Miss Bonner. It's a real shame.
Judy, will you please take Mr. Stevenson's calls?
All right, Cabot, what is it now? What do you want?
Oh, nothing. I'm letting you off the hook, Mr. Stevenson.
What about your report?
Oh, I'm going to help you out. We just have to figure it out exactly how to keep your accounts from conflicting with my report. Come on, let's take a walk.
Best cover-up would be to blame the whole thing on a bookkeeping error. Say that the money that's gone never really existed. Now, if your report could back that up.
Stevenson? That's as far as we go.
Well, what are you doing?
Sorry. I have a delicate situation. You're a weak man. You broke for me, you'd cave in for anybody else.
Cabot, please.
Frank! No!
What are you doing here?
Jones figured it out. It's too late.
Cabot, freeze! Stupid! All of you stupid!
Seems I was wrong for once, Jonesy. Better man doesn't win after all.
Let's go, Cabot.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Lloyd Buckner, Christine Belford, Michael Blodgett. Special guest star Nico Manardos. Tonight's episode, The Loose Connection.
I was told you were a man who lived well down here in Mexico, Mr. Philippe.
Yes, I live well in Mexico. I live well in Beirut. I live well in Hydra. I live well in Miami. In fact, wherever I have a passport, I do live well.
Very well, I'd say.
You like my little sanctuary? I'm pleased. Some of these flowers are extremely rare. You see, plants are my hobby.
It follows. After all, the poppy is a flower, isn't it?
Oh, it's a lovely, lovely flower, Mr. Stevens. It's beautiful and profitable, a rare combination, wouldn't you say?
Mr. Felipe, a business point, if I may.
Yes?
You take responsibility for delivery. When the shipment is in my hands in Los Angeles, then I turn over the $1 million to you.
No, I would prefer to remain comfortably here in Angelica for the time being, with my flowers. My man Kirk will make the trip up north with your man...
Cole.
Cole, of course. When all is done, Kirk will accept the payment. And now the performance. It has become an expert chess game nowadays, delivering heroin. Our governments, they're checking the airplanes, the ships, the border traffic. They even search every vehicle that crosses, every one of them. But watch, Kirk. This container holds the water for the windshield washers. It's a reservoir. You see, American cars have all the comforts. The heroin.
Very neat. Unless they check this car too closely at the border.
This car will never cross the border. But this one will. Same model, same reservoir. Will be driven by a man above suspicion, a man that the guard know quite well at the border, who comes to Mexico often, and who doesn't have any idea of the part he's going to play.
And this is the man?
His name is Barnaby Jones. He lives in Los Angeles. Comes to Mexico often. He likes Mexican food and enjoys fishing down here.
If I could just get this catalyst working properly, I could develop a compound that would crystallize the faintest trace of oil from our fingers on any kind of a surface.
Ah, yes, Herr Professor.
You'll laugh all the way to the bank when I get it working. I'll be able to take fingerprints off butterflies.
Excuse me. I'm Eleanor Devers. Your door was open. Am I too early?
Yes, Miss Devers. This is Barnaby Jones.
How do you do, Miss Devers?
How do you do, sir?
No, you're not early. You're right on the button. This is my daughter-in-law, Betty Jones.
Hi. Hello.
You said on the phone you were trying to locate your father in Mexico.
Yeah, it's the first word I've had in almost 2 years. See, Dad just left home, Cedar Rapids, that is, and disappeared.
Yeah?
Thank you. Well, he was having a lot of business problems.
Thomas Devers, age 44, height.
You see, he's the only family I have. I just didn't have anything to go on until I got that letter I told you about from a woman who used to be my teacher. She'd seen Dad in Angelica out on the fishing pier. Mrs. Wiggins is her name. She was in Mexico on a sabbatical.
He sent you his love. He has made up his mind that here is where he wants to be. Like I said, just beachcombing.
Mr. Jones, I know my dad. If I could just talk to him myself.
Well, it's a pretty fair lead.
Like I said, I can't go to Mexico by myself. I don't speak the language and, well, you know, a girl alone.
When do you want to go?
Right away? I'm all packed. I have my suitcase in my car down in your garage.
Well, that's right away.
Okay, go ahead. Hey, Barnaby, you heard, huh?
Heard what?
Well, the marlin are running real good.
Oh, I won't even have time to wet a line this trip.
Too bad. Okay.
Senor.
Buenos dias, senor, senora.
You speak English?
Yes, good fishing today. Nice weather.
Yes, it is. We need some help.
Good fishing.
Yes, sir. Have you ever seen this man, senor?
Sí.
Oh, then you know him. ¿Dónde está el hombre?
Oh, usted habla español, señor. Sí, él está por allá, sí.
No, speak in English. Anglais.
He come once a week. He fish. Tomás.
Do you know where he lives, sir? Casa.
No casa. On beach, la playa.
Gracias, señor.
De nada, señor. Good fishing.
Thank you.
Nice weather. Adios.
Dad? It's me.
Ellie, how did you get here? How did you ever find me?
There was a letter from Mrs. Wiggins. Well, I found you, and that's all that matters. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mr. Jones. He helped me find you.
Howdy. Mr. Jones? I guess I have to say thanks.
Well, you two probably have a lot to say to each other. I'll just take a look around. I'll see you later, okay?
How am I doing?
Nice performance, kid. You like the wardrobe I'm wearing?
I'll just be glad when it's finished, whatever it is.
And I don't ask questions. I just take the dough.
You seem very glad to see you,
Yeah, but
but not enough to come home with you.
he said there's nothing back there for him anymore. Nothing. He's just given up, Mr. Jones. Could you take me away from here right away?
Why are they stopping everybody?
Could be anything. Somebody trying to enter the country illegally, contraband, drugs, a lot of that lately. Some days they search every car.
You an American citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you, miss?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind opening the trunk for me, sir?
Not at all.
Now, would you open the hood for me, sir?
Sure.
Fishing that bad, Barnaby?
Found one, but he got away.
Hey, Church, he's a good gringo. Okay, Barnaby, go ahead.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
you two okay? Okay. It was all my fault. I wasn't even looking. I was thinking about something else.
That's a good way to drive.
My wife and I saw our first bullfight yesterday. Barbaric, absolutely barbaric. You know those fellas on horses that do the poking?
Picadors. Will you pull on this fender?
Yeah. Well, they started to stick the bull with those things.
Bandoleros, pull out.
Out, right. Out, right. I bought some tacos later. I bet it was the same animal. Anyhow, I took my wife down to the motel, and I was on my way to a drugstore.
Bitters might help her.
Bitters? Really? Thanks. Well, anyhow, I'm going to call up and get a tow truck, and we'll get this thing fixed right away, huh? Well, where's the phone around here now?
Sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
My insurance man in L.A. will contact you, Mr. Jones, and thanks a lot for not blowing your stack like other people would have.
Well, Mr. Walters, if I'd thought blowing my stack could get that wheel fixed quicker, I might have done it.
Well, that's all there is. Officer, I'm clear with you.
Okay.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Any problems?
No sweat.
A lift to his garage if you like.
Thank you, Deputy. Trevor?
Shouldn't be too much longer.
Well, about $20 for labor and $15 for the tow ought to get you on the road.
Okay. Can I have a receipt?
You bet.
I guess that comes under the heading of expenses, huh?
We'll work it out. Here you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Something bothering you, Mr. Jones?
That green car's been following us ever since we left Mexico. Sorry things didn't work out better for you. Good luck.
Well, I tried, and that's the main thing. Thank you, Mr. Jones. If you're ever in Cedar Rapids, you look me up, huh?
I just might do that.
You make good time. Blue's a divine color on you.
Yeah, except it doesn't match my red face.
What happened? Did you find the girl's father?
We found somebody, but I'll bet you chocolate soda it wasn't her father.
What?
Later, let's see what this tells us. Don't get any fingerprints on this stuff. Lipstick, compact.
What's that?
Looks like a Keno slip. Gambling.
Oh, there's a pill box with the little white pills in it.
What kind of pills?
I don't know. Come on, Barnaby, tell me what happened.
I think I've been had. Used.
You?
Yeah, the old gray fox. A chump.
How? By whom?
I don't know. I don't know why yet. No, if I was a courier, The car. Be right back.
Barnaby, wait. Barnaby, wait. You know, there's just one special thing. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Fighting the old bug like everybody, buddy.
Barnaby?
You gotta admit, when I make mistakes, I make them in punches. If they were after me, they've had their chance. It's got to be the car.
Will you be sensible and be quiet and stop thinking about it? Dr. Reynolds says you're lucky enough as it is.
Dumb luck make that. And that girl, this damsel in distress.
Now, where do you think you're going?
Call Pete down to the garage and tell him I'm on my way.
Barnaby.
And don't act like a worried daughter-in-law right now. Act like a secretary. Check on that license number, and maybe that stuff in her purse will tell us something. Honey, I'm okay.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Mr. Jones. There's some scratches here and there, wrench marks. And one hose connection loose on the container for the windshield washer fluid.
Thanks, Pete.
What's this all add up to?
Drugs. Heroin, probably.
Huh?
Nothing. Thanks, Pete. The alkaloid content of the pills in her purse is diamond hydronate.
What's that?
Dramamine.
Oh, for motion sickness.
Yeah. Funny, you didn't seem to need any on the ground.
For a plane, maybe? A boat?
Where's the DMV report on the license?
It's registered to a man, a Harvey Conwell, 311 Fountain. There's no telephone in that name. Oh, and this Keno sheet. It's from a downtown Las Vegas casino.
She does all kinds of gambling. 615720. Cards marked in ink. This number is in lipstick.
I thought possibly she used it to make a note for herself. Telephone number, maybe?
Not in 6 numbers. Betty, get me Sunwest Air.
Barnaby, you're not planning to go to Vegas tonight, are you? Said his daughter-in-law.
$615 could be a flight number, too.
Sunwest Air? Hold on, please.
Hello? I need some flight information, please. Do you have a flight number 615 or one leaving at 6:15? Flight 615. What time's it leaving? 7:20. Las Vegas. Thank you very much.
Pretty smart cookie.
About time. I'm on my way.
Barnaby, you should be home in bed. Come on, now, let's get you home and resting, hmm?
You mean you just want to drop everything for a little while? Is that what you're saying?
What else can you do?
Betty, every day some kid gets a taste of the needle because that poison is allowed to get into the country. Every day new lives go down the drain.
All right. Where do we start?
I start at 311 Fountain.
Barnaby Jones' office. May I help you?
Hello, Betty.
Hi.
I found Conwell, our friend's father. He's dead. Back of his head caved in. Call a lieutenant and tell him to come over to 311 Fountain. I'll call in the details to him later.
Or are you all right?
Sure. I'll be in touch.
Trans-Western Airlines announces the arrival of flight number 5, non-stop
Well, hello.
New York.
Mr. Jones.
Don't you look nice? So different. This is a happy coincidence. Going home?
Yeah, and I don't want to miss my flight.
I thought you'd be staying for the funeral.
What funeral?
Your father, found murdered, 311 Fountain. I'd like you to officially identify the body, Miss Deverett.
Look, Mr. Jones, there's something I have to tell you. You see, the man we saw in Mexico, he's not my father.
He's still dead.
Actually, he's a friend. I stay with him sometimes when I'm modeling or acting in L.A. He's an actor, really.
A dead actor. Harvey Conwell.
Okay. You're a clever dude. You figured a few things out. But you've been paid, and that's all there is to it, Mr.
Not
Jones.
quite, lady.
Why did you bring me here?
Well, let's see what we have here. Looks like a classic case of withdrawal. You ever see heroin withdrawal before? You tell me it feels like your gut's full of worms. Hungry worms.
Oh, please.
I see this young lady has OD'd badly. You know what OD is, don't you? That's an overdose. That's when some poor soul gets mixed up and thinks that twice as much is twice as good, but it doesn't work that way. You step across that line and your body starts dying in pieces.
Mr. Jones. My real name is Laura Tanis. I work weekends in Las Vegas as a cocktail waitress and here as a photographer's model. I went to Mexico with this photographer on a big picture layout. Big deal. Big phony. He cut out and left me with a fat hotel bill. They were going to throw me in jail. And this man approached me.
And he offered to help you if you do him a little favor.
Yeah. And the favors seemed an awful lot cleaner than most of the favors men ask me, if you really want to know.
What was this nice, clean gentleman's name?
Raul Felipe, he told me.
Who's his buyer in Los Angeles?
I don't know. A man named Kirk works for him. I don't know anymore, believe me. They took me for a ride as much as you.
Would you recognize this Raul Felipe if you saw his picture?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go. Police headquarters to look at mug shots. Mr. Kirk, I presume.
You got it. Now drive.
You're looking at an agitated man. I'll be direct. I want it back now.
I'm not following you. What do you want back?
You switched $1 million worth of my heroin. It belongs to me. If you want to go on living, give it back.
Isn't that heroin?
No, a substitute. Ounce for ounce.
Sugar?
Sugar. Jones, either you're very stupid or you think I am. Didn't you figure that I'd analyze this stuff?
Mr. Stevens, this is as big a surprise to me as it is to you.
Kill the girl. Don't fool with her first, just kill her.
No. Now, Mr. Felipe is going to be here soon, and I'm sure he's going to want to handle this himself.
I want that stuff now.
We wait for Felipe.
You stay here with them.
Stevens, you don't give me my orders. Felipe's going to want to talk to me.
All right. You'd be idiots to try anything.
Eleanor, listen fast. We left Mexico with a fortune in heroin. Somewhere between here and there, somebody double-crossed somebody.
But who? They think it's us.
That's right. I want them to keep thinking that. Now, Eleanor, if you've ever acted in your life, act now.
You tramp. I can kill each one of you, slow or fast, or in front of each other. But I've already wasted too much time eliminating your father. You're far beyond your depth. And you're an old man. I want answers, and I want them now.
I'll give you answers.
Well, I'm glad you're not so old that you've grown foolish. Where is it?
I've got it. On the way to Mexico, the lady confided in me, and we decided to turn a quick profit.
You two amateurs. You decided you want to turn a quick profit.
$1 million is a pretty big temptation, even for a solid citizen like myself. So we switched sugar for the heroin and left the heroin south of here.
He's already sold it, Felipe. This is just a stall to keep alive.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You undoubtedly have a proposal for me.
All I can offer at this time is your merchandise for our lives.
I'll put it away, please.
He's lying.
And if they're not, and if you kill them, you've lost nothing. But I will lose $1 million worth of heroin.
Give it to me. I only say please once. You will take us to it. And believe me, if you are stalling, I will give Mr. Stevens back his gun.
Seems fair.
Good. We will take my car. It is your party, Mr. Barnaby Jones, so you drive. You two, you wait for me until I telephone.
Why'd you stop here?
You should try to stay calm, Mr. Stevens. I read an article last week that said that many physical ailments are the direct result of a nervous disposition.
Felipe, how much longer are you going to let him waste time?
No longer. Where is it?
I don't know. I don't have it. I never did.
I knew it.
That's a poor choice of words, Mr. Stevens, for a clever man. The way he said, I knew it. Well, Mr. Felipe, how could he know it? Come clean, we don't have it. That just leaves you, too. And how could Mr. Stevens be so certain I was lying unless he has it himself?
He's crazy. He's playing games again.
The way I figure, the switch had to be made while our car was being towed to that service station. Your men, Cole and Kirk, had us under observation for every second, except for 1 minute while we were going through a tunnel.
How much more of this garbage are you going to listen to?
A little bit more. It cost me nothing. And the story's fascinating.
One more question. How do you set up something like that unless the accident is arranged and Mason, the tow truck man, is in it all the way?
That character with a bellyache and the cameras, that whole scene.
Yes, that really rankled. Expensive cameras. He ran around banging them together like he didn't know the difference between a lens cap and a light meter. A real camera nut would never treat his equipment that way. He didn't even take any pictures, just as insurance in case I sued later. No, those cameras were just props. And, of course, he was the one who called the tow truck. Am I filling in any holes for you, Mr. Stevens?
Maybe we can sell this to the funny papers so the trip shouldn't be a total loss. Come on, get it over with.
I can suggest a way to get it over with once and for all.
Please do, Mr. Jones.
Why don't you have Mr. Stevens take a little walk over to that station? We'll watch and see whether he's greeted as a stranger or as an old friend.
Please? To set my mind at ease and to end all that distrust.
Mason, you don't know me. Don't pay any attention to me. Just keep on walking. You don't know me. That's right. That's right.
You lose, Mr. Jones.
No, I win.
Steve!
What are you doing back?
Behind me!
Get out.
I think we stopped the whole shipment. Looks like the real stuff. Worth a fortune on the street.
You're gonna have to go with them now.
I'll be testifying about you, Eleanor. Everything, including how you helped.
Thank you. You know, I ran so hard for so long. It might be good to stop running for a while. Maybe I'll figure out where I belong.
You belong where you earn your way. This may cost you time, some hurt, but you're gonna be all right. I think you're gonna be fine.
Thanks.